part 2, and I'll finally be caught up with Chantal. Wait, what's that? Oh shit, she's going live. Oh my god, I'm losing it. A special thank you to my patrons, Acrophobe Christina, Wild Rose, J.M. Beans, Jay Thomas, Lauren Chris, Michael B. Petty, That British Unicorn, Sky Andropolis, Debbie Elliott, D. Higgins, Juliet Q, and Kate O. Alright, this is the second part of my Chantal, weekly Chantal. Well, I guess now at this point it's bi-weekly Chantal because this is the second half of the video that I am doing. This should relatively be a quicker video because there's less to cover, and honestly, as much as I like her pre-recorded stuff more than I like her just lives, there was just less to cover in both of those videos. So hopefully, maybe half an hour. I feel like I say that at the beginning of every video and it never turns out to actually be true because I, fun fact, ramble. Also, if any of you guys are going to tell me, hey, your sleeves aren't buttoned, that's right, they're not. I won't button them, and you can't make me. With all of that said, let's talk about Chantal's actual week, shall we? We're going to start with her Saturday Night Live. Not the show, but her actual live that she did. Now, if you guys remember, a little while ago, she promised she'd be doing a Saturday Live every week rather than just going live repetitively during the week. As we all know, she didn't actually stick to that because Chantal doesn't stick to anything because she lacks the ability to follow through with any of her plans, as sad as that is. So, you know, obviously that didn't happen. But this is the live that she said that she was going to do. After that, she's got 2 videos where she's just mukbanging. Those in total aren't really all that interesting. What is interesting is the non-YouTube drama, her OnlyFans debacle. I'm going to save that towards the end rather than trying to interweave it in between all of this because, fun fact, as you guys know, a lot of the times I miss stuff when it's happening and then I have to like go back through like Valgal on Twitter, her channel, and then also like Future Miss Becky. Those are like my 2 sources for getting all of the news because they are very current and they have all the screenshots. I get all of my screenshots mostly from them. Thank you, you guys. Otherwise I would just miss everything. I don't have the ability to follow Chantal less closely because she is a dirty deleter, as you guys are well aware. With all of that said, let's jump into her actual videos.
This is a German cheese called Limburger. It's one of the smelliest cheeses in the world. And I saw that my grocery store had it, so I wanted to try it. Now it tastes like the inside is really creamy.
This isn't all that important. I just want to say that she ate some Limburg cheese. I think it's called Lindbergh or Limburger cheese. It's considered to be one of the stinkiest cheeses in the entire world. Very fascinating. It's actually a pretty interesting cheese. I'd never had it myself, but I'd be curious. All Chantal really had to say about it was that it was creamy. Who would have thought cheese that's made of cream and milk would be creamy? My God, will wonders never cease.
So the pet store, there were 2 that were still open, okay? And my hair is so, I didn't wash it today. Oh, fuck, I was so like annoyed because it said 2 were open. So I drove all the way to the closest one, which was pretty still far away from my house. We get all the way there. You can't go in the store. You have to call. That's the procedure with all of those, the same chain of pet stores, okay? I call. The girl answers kind of grumpy, like, hello, like with the name of the store. And then I'm like, yeah, we need to get some stuff. It says you're open till 8. It was like 7:15. And she's like, well, you won't be able to get anything tonight. Actually, what you need to do is go online. You'll have to order it for Tuesday. And I'm like, but I drove all the way here. It says you're open till 8. Can I not just place an order over the phone and come pick it up? Like, and she was like, oh, you won't be able to get it tonight. So I hung up. I called the next store further away. Of course, they were like, oh, yeah, sure. You know, like, you say you're open till 8. That's the procedure. Like, the phone number's right on the window. So, anyway. So I was all mad. I had to drive all the way to another store. It was so annoying.
Chantal is out here being retail Karen during a pandemic. I hate that so much. Like, I get that I'm a millennial and Chantal definitely has more boomer energy, but for reals, right? I have worked retail myself, so I tend to overly empathize with people when they're serving. Even when I'm upset, I always make sure I tell them quite a few times, like, hey, I'm not mad at you. I'm just upset at the situation and I'm having a difficult time controlling my emotions because I'm a person. And also, if you guys don't know this about me, I am very like chill now, but I used to be, when I was like younger, very, very hot-headed. And that still comes out. And I am, for all that I have cultivated my personality to be more go with the flow, my general nature is that I'm a type A personality and I'm very, very uptight. I try though. I've learned, like literally taught myself how to be more like casual and go with the flow and easygoing. It's been great. It really helps if you can do that. But in times of stress, that's that type A personality that I have still comes to the surface. I think a lot of that stems from anxiety. I'm a very anxious person. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. What I mean to say is that Chantal's out here demanding people bend to her whim when she lacks the ability to do anything in a timely manner. Lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on their part. If you needed this stuff tonight, then you should have called them, seen if they could make this happen for you, and if not, been like, oh, thank you, I was the one approaching you last minute, and tried a few other places. It doesn't matter if they're open till 8. It doesn't matter if they're open till 12. If they cannot accommodate you, they cannot accommodate you. People who called before you are prioritized. That's how priority ordering works. You call them and then they will buy all of your stuff for you and then check it out. But if they have 12 people in the store and 50 people call to place their order, it doesn't matter if they're open until 8. If you're the 51st person, you're still going to have to wait until the other 50 people get their stuff. Who do you think you are? I mean, the queen herself should not be behaving this way, okay? And fun fact, Canadians put the queen on their money. I know she has some pull there. So I can make that joke.
It depends on my mood, McDonald's or Burger King. This is the Samsung S20. It is intuitive eating because I'm craving McDonald's.
Absolutely not. I've said it like a bajillion times. I always point out when she says craving because it like irritates the crap out of me because trust me, actual cravings are a real thing. They're a very legitimate thing that people experience, especially due to like hormonal imbalances when they've got certain vitamin deficiencies that can happen. And pregnancy is a great example of people getting cravings, right? Chantal doesn't have cravings. Chantal wants to eat something and then she uses the justification of I have a craving because a craving means that she is not responsible. If she just says I really wanted to eat it, that means that she could really try not to eat it. But if she says, well, I had a craving, she's a slave to her impulses. She's a slave to that tiny little lizard brain of hers, you know? Who can help it? She certainly can't. That's why she says that a lot. She's lying about it almost every time, which is not to say that I don't think she actually has cravings. I think everybody has cravings to a certain extent, but I cannot imagine that her cravings are reserved exclusively for garbage that a raccoon would turn their nose at.
I got the gummy bears. I got the Sour Patch knockoffs. And, 2 bags. 2 bags of these Swedish fish. They get stuck in your teeth. I know they do get stuck in your teeth, but they're still really good. Patty Too Mad. Hey, was excited to get the notification. Me and 2 kitties. Love BBJ. Sam went over the barricade. Thank you, Patty Too Mad. You love peach gummies. They're really good. They don't make me gassy. They don't, no, not at all. They don't, because they don't have the sugar they use. Oh, okay, so they use stevia. So it's not the type of fake sugar like the that gives you modified potato starch, pectin, natural berry, carrot, and black currant, coconut oil. So potatoes are really high in fiber, right? So that must be what it's from. I don't know. They're really high in fiber somehow.
Those candies are laxatives. I don't recommend people eating an entire bag. I mean, I personally like them myself, the Smart Sweets, and I will eat a couple of them at a time if I really want something sweet. Y'all know, not a big sweet fan. But The reason why I don't think Chantal will even notice if they're causing her gastric distress is because she lives in a world of gastric distress. That is literally her normal day-to-day. Like, if my stomach hurt the way that Chantal's does, I would literally think I was dying. No joke. I would think I had, I would go to the hospital and be like, run every possible test on me, because my stomach doesn't work like that. I don't have to, I pee all of the time, but I don't think that has anything to do with something being wrong with me, and everything to do with the fact that I drink like a gallon of water a day, right? So Chantal's stomach hurts because she eats a ton of really, really fast digesting, low fiber, high fat foods as a diabetic, obese woman with no gallbladder. That's why her stomach hurts all the time and gives her all of these IBS-like symptoms. And because she does not actually do anything about those other issues, the problematic eating that she has, her stomach aches all of the time, and she hasn't realized that's not a really normal thing. If it gets worse than normal, she'd be like, oh, I have C. diff. But when it's just that like regular, oh, I have to go to the bathroom every time I eat, she's just like, oh, that's just a thing that happens to me, I guess. No reason why. There's no explanation for these things. Science, what's science? So she's going to eat this entire bag of candies, and it's not going to have much of an effect on her because her stomach hurts all the time anyway. How is she going to distinguish it from all the other times that she had to poop immediately after eating? And also, Chantal's not all that self-observant. She's not going to collect that data, which, fun fact, big part of intuitive eating is to collect data about yourself and to avoid eating foods that upset your stomach.
Why is it not intuitive? It totally can be. Intuitive eating, don't forget the first rule. Unconditional permission to eat all foods.
See, this is the thing. That is the only tenet of intuitive eating that she's embraced, is that you should not restrict any food at any times for any reasons. There are a lot of tenets of intuitive eating that I actually appreciate. One of them is joyful movement. Another one is collecting data about yourself. That's something that I try and do as well. Keep in mind, like, okay, I'm eating this. How does it make me feel? Should I eat it? Should I not? That's how I've discovered if I eat a cold and or sweet breakfast, I am not satisfied the entire day. I need to eat protein. I need to eat salt. If I eat sugar first thing in the morning, and it does not matter what kind of sugar it is, it doesn't matter if it's like sweet oatmeal with like berries in it, right? I will be hungry. I don't know why, but something about that does not satisfy me. It has to be something savory. It doesn't even matter what. I don't know if I've told you guys, but I make savory oats in the morning for myself. I'll put like an ounce of cheese, some nutritional yeast. I put in veggies in there, and I make it's like a porridge made with oatmeal. And I eat that, and you know what? It's really satisfying, and I don't get that urge. If I eat like a sweet version of that, I will 100% want to eat snacks the rest of the day. Don't know why that is. I can eat sweets for every other meal in the day. I can eat something sweet for every other meal, every other snack, and I have no issues, but I cannot handle it. I cannot for breakfast. So I know that about myself. Chantal has never done any of that introspection. She's never written anything down or kept the food log of what she eats and how it makes her feel. She has no idea, which is why she's never progressed past the don't restrict and eat everything that comes near me phase of intuitive eating. Not that I think intuitive eating would work for her, but there are some other principles that she could have employed that she isn't, specifically because of that. They all require a certain amount of introspection, and Chantal does not like to look at her actions outside of herself. Because if she did, then she might catch a glimpse of the actual dumpster fire of a person that she is, and she might have to admit that she's wrong about a lot of stuff. This way, if you never ever look at yourself from an outside point of view, never ever inspect your own actions, never be critical of your own behavior, you don't have to do any of that, and you can just avoid all of that discomfort. Never come face to face with the reality that maybe you were wrong about something.
So just a reminder, though, for all mods, I'm sure you guys know, we're only deleting like, you know, really nasty stuff. Yes, we can, Amber. Yes, me, you, me, Pete, you, and Becky should play. That'd be fun. Please give Timbit some scritches. We will, Spooky. Even if it's just harmless trolling, like, I don't really care if people are, like, making jokes or whatever. Like, it doesn't really bug me anymore that much. Or at all. That would be so fun.
actually found this kind of weird that she only told her mods to delete people who were being like racist or something like that. Where in the past you'll just be like, oh, you're being stupid, delete, 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 right? And it occurs to me that I think she probably pissed off a lot of her audience. Now, Chantal's no stranger to that. She often pisses off her audience, but that's because a lot of her audience are genuinely trolls and people who don't like her and are there for the train wreck aspect of her life. So when she pisses them off, it doesn't surprise me. This was entertaining because I think she actually turned a lot of her own viewership against her. She actually managed to offend a lot of her quote unquote loyal subscribers. And so now this is her trying to play nice and be like, hey guys, I don't mind. You guys can say whatever. I'm open to criticism, just no racism, please, no racism. I can't stand that kind of thing.
The chicken is delicious. I love rotisserie chickens too. So what I'm going to do is keep all the bones and everything else and the skin and boil it with vegetables. Make a broth. Isn't rotisserie chicken just the best, honestly?
I actually do the same. So I keep all of the bones that I have from all the chickens that I eat. That sounded weird. Makes it sound like I eat 50 chickens a day. But anytime I eat like a chicken that has bones, I will keep all of the bones. I collect them in a bag in my freezer. And I also will put in like any carrots that have gotten a little too wilty, any like celery that's gotten too wilty, the ends of the onions that are like attached to like that bulb, like the root part of it, where they don't have the same texture as the rest of the onion does, and so they taste weird in food. I'll actually use those in there too. Toss everything in there, garlic that's about to go off. I collect everything into one big bag, and then when that bag gets really full, I dump all of that into an Instapot, and then I put it on the soup setting for 45 minutes on seal, and I have homemade stock. And then I can all of that homemade stock. And this way I don't ever have to actually buy it from the store. And it's low sodium because I don't add any salt to my stock. Don't salt your stock if you're making it at home. You don't know the amount of salt you'll need for the dish that you're making. So don't, just err on the side of safety, don't salt your stock. And then I have stock. That's generally how I do it. And it makes me feel better that I'm not wasting anything. That's a really big issue for me. I really, really hate food wastage.
I mean, honestly, like me, and I just, whatever. I don't care. She can me all she wants. It doesn't affect me. It has no effect on me.
That's true.
Are you pooping again?
Yep.
She's pooping again.
I mean, I don't know why, but I go about 11 times a day.
Yes. The laxative candy and the high-fat foods are all intuitive. And the 11 times that she's pooping each and every single day is perfectly normal and part of intuitive eating, I'm sure.
I think that this shirt fits me a bit looser. I'll show you guys. I think it could be my imagination. But it used to not cover these t-shirts, they're 4X. So they used to not cover my belly the same way. Do they cover like the bottom of my belly? Wait till I come back to tell me. But if I stretch it out a bit, kind of covers, I don't know. Where's my belly? Down here.
Has Chantal lost weight? It's hard to tell. When she's standing back, it looks like the t-shirt is a little bit looser on her, but that's very difficult thing to judge, right? Those sorts of t-shirts, especially Tarte, I don't think they have very good quality when it comes to t-shirts. They can stretch out in the wash. When she bought it, it was significantly tight on her, right? And we saw she kept like yanking at her shirt and trying to pull it away from her skin, right? And what that means is she's stretching the fabric out little by little. She tends to live in her clothes too. She wears them a lot and she wears them out. Also, there is the denim effect that sometimes clothes can get. When you basically have a pair of jeans that you've lived in for like 2 or 3 days and they get like really nice and stretched out and comfortable in all the right places, and then you wash them and they go back to being tight the way that they were when you first bought them. That might be what's happening here. She just hasn't put it through the wash. You can see she's got some grease stains on it. We don't know how old they are, but she's got them on there. That says to me that she's had it on for a little bit. So we don't know. Also entirely possible, she's actually lost weight. When you are that large, it takes a little bit of time to notice when you lose weight, right? It's difficult. You might notice a little change in your clothes. You might notice a little bit more comfort when you're moving, but people looking at you might not be able to visually tell that you've lost a lot of weight, especially if it's not like your loved ones who are paying very close mind to that kind of thing. And it's hard to tell on a camera anyway. Depending on the angle at which you're filming, the lighting, where you are, and like I said, clothes, it can make a huge difference on how big you look. I look skinnier in some clothes than I do in others, right? I mean, it's not going to stop me from wearing whatever I want because I fundamentally do not care. But it is true. Also, the camera angle makes a big difference in whether or not I look fat or whether or not I look thin, whether or not you can see my double chin or not.
So I still don't eat regular pattern or anything like that. I'm just sticking to eating when I'm hungry. You know what I mean? So
this idea that she waits till she's hungry and then she eats, I actually found a little bit stupid because IE makes allowances for you to eat regularly timed meals to avoid getting to that point where you're so starving that you can no longer control yourself. In fact, there are tenets of IE that state that if you know you're not going to be able to eat a meal later on in the day because of like X, Y, and Z reasons, say you have to, I don't know, pick up your kids from school, you have a very important meeting, you've got an exam happening later on that day, it gives you the ability that you should be able to eat an extra meal, eat an extra big meal, even if you're not really hungry then, because you're eating intuitively in the sense that you know you will be hungry later on. So this idea that she waits until she's really hungry and then she eats is stupid and not IE anyway. She's wrong on all fronts.
you have 3 bathrooms, but only use one of them. Less cleaning. That's true. I don't mind cleaning the bathrooms. I hate laundry, of all things to do.
She has 3 bathrooms and they only use one. I mean, I don't think that's a good idea. I think they should both have their own separate bathrooms because, you know, she has C. diff and Pete's does not, last we checked. But even beyond that, I mean, I think beyond that, it just makes sense to me. You can't really have people over right now, so it makes sense why, you know, you would only be washing the one bathroom that's in use, or really, I think it should be 2 bathrooms, but whatever. I have, I don't know why I have to think about it so much. I have 2 bathrooms, and we only really use one. It's just partner and I. There's no need for us to get all 2 of the bathrooms dirty when we can only just use one. And one of them is in the hallway, so when people come, which they don't anymore, they can use that one. So we just end up using the one attached to the master, and that's it. We don't really need another bathroom.
Only twice I use mine daily, almost, then put the pot in the dishwasher. I know. I need to use my stuff. I'm sure they've seen hoarding all the time.
I don't understand why she doesn't use her Instapot more often. It is so useful. There's a ton of groups, by the way, on Facebook too, if you guys have an Instapot and don't know how to use it. Especially, I think there's one where it's like all Indian food. They give you a bunch of great recipes for the Instapot. I use mine, I want to say every other day at least. I might use it, in fact, every day. I use it so often. It's my most used appliance in the kitchen. Because if nothing else, it's really easy to toss like veggies in there, to make like soup in there, even to do chicken, like poached chicken in there. It just makes my life a lot easier and I don't have to worry about anything. It's great. She should use it. It can make making healthier recipes so much easier. It's amazing. It's a great, great thing. Mind you, then that would mean that, you know, she wouldn't have an excuse to eat garbage 24/7. So maybe that's why. Anyway, next.
I don't really care that Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar for Joker.
I liked that movie.
I barely care about the Joker as a villain. I liked Mark Hamill's Joker. That's the Joker that I liked. Anything else, I don't really care. Joaquin Phoenix, I don't really care.
So this is the live stream that she did on Valentine's Day. It is actually a 2-parter, but I'm going to condense it down into 1 part, mostly because I don't really have very much to say about this. She makes a roast. Cool. Glad you guys like roast. I really don't have anything to add to that. Looks like a fine meal. She makes the packaged gravy, which I wouldn't, but then you guys know how I feel about a lot of stuff. The only point in here that I really have to make is that at one point Pete says that, you know, Heath Ledger's Joker is not like the only Joker or something like that. I have to agree with him. I know that this is a very hot take, and y'all can go ahead and roast me in the comments because I stand firm in my beliefs that I actually kind of liked Jared Leto's Joker. I think the entire Suicide Squad movie was an unmitigated disaster. But what can be more Joker than irritating the shit out of every single person who saw you on TV or movies? You know? When I watched it, I remember thinking to myself, I really don't like this portrayal of Joker. But that's really what Joker would want. He would want to irritate me. So while he might not have fit like the character that Heath Ledger made, I think that when it comes to just being like a weird dude doing weird things, I really think he did a good job. And I really think that if like cartoon Joker / comic book Joker could come to life outside of like the Killing Joke series, I think he would kind of agree that being obnoxious is the best way to be Joker. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. Next.
Hi guys. So you're probably thinking this is not a time warp video. I messed up my own schedule. I'm bad at schedules, which is why I don't like to do schedules. What is this crap? Iced tea. I wanted a lemonade. Well, anyways, I like iced tea. So, tomorrow is supposed to be the time warp. Today is a TMI story.
This is her Burger King mukbang. And in the context of Burger King, I don't know what an angry king is, but I do have one waiting literally behind this screen, just itching for me to finish so that he can go to sleep. So I'm going to keep it short and say this entire video is completely stupid and very, very pointless. She starts off by saying that, hey, I'm so sorry. I did not get to the time warp. And it's because I messed up my schedule. And I think to myself, wow, how could she have possibly done that? She has so very, very little going on in her schedule. How could she have messed stuff up? And then it occurs to me, she didn't mess anything up. She just didn't care. She ran out of time to film stuff. And this is her using other things in her life as an excuse to get out of making a video that requires just like the tiniest fraction more energy and effort than any of her other videos. You know? That's why she did it.
These are new. All dressed chicken nuggets. So, you know, all dressed chips? I don't know if you guys have them in the US. I don't think so. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But all dressed chips. They're like a tangy, how would I describe all dressed? Like a tangy barbecue. So they're seasoned with all dressed seasoning, like the chips.
All dressed nugs sound gross. I love all dressed chips. They are the second best flavor of chips. The first, of course, definitely being ketchup Lay's, which I cannot believe is not a thing in America. But all dressed is pretty good. That said, I'm not sure how well it would work on chicken. Though now I'm having like really like a weird urge to make like a fried chicken tender and make it with like a crumb made of all dressed chips. Stay tuned for that. I might do that.
I was always worried about catching rides. I remember my mom being like, somebody might try to make friends and find out if somebody lives near us and who can drop you back home or whatever on the way back. That stressed me out because I have social anxiety in a lot of ways. Like, who am I going to ask? The brown noser who told on me? She'd probably rather see me freeze and walk home in my thong.
I've noticed this a few times before, but I really noticed it in this video where she's talking about asking for rides from coworkers, and she's like, well, who am I supposed to ask for a ride, Mom? I have social anxiety. It's hard for me. And besides, who do I ask? That girl that told on me to the manager? She hates me. She probably would be happier to let me walk home in my thong and freeze. And it seems so weird to me. You never asked this girl. You don't know what she said. And you're saying told on you. You're an adult human person. If I'm in a workplace and I have continuous problems with another employee not doing their job the way that they should be, you better believe I'm going to complain to management. Not in the, oh, can you please make her do stuff, but write a politely worded email saying, hey, I'm performing my job to the best of my capabilities, but if someone else is not performing and is bringing down the output of the entire team, that is not a reflection on me. I get that she was younger in this situation, but she hasn't actually changed at any point beyond that, right? She's still the same person that she fundamentally was then. So if someone actually complains about something that she did, she's probably still going to think of it the same way, that someone told on her, rather than you were being a bad employee and someone reported you for being a bad employee. And we know Chantal's a bad employee, by the way. We have a history of this, both from her own stories and from the entirety of the settlement with the hospital stuff. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out Toad McKinley's video on the Canadian Horror Story. So her dislike of this person is very weird. And you don't know who reported you. It could have been somebody else. Maybe she does know, but maybe you deserved it. And she displays this continuous pattern where she picks more on the women than she does on men. And even then you see a disparity. It's like women and then gay men, right? Not straight men, not people who would be interested in her sexually. And it strikes me as being very pick-me behavior, that very much I'm not like those other girls. I'm a cool girl, right? I might be fat, but I'm just like one of the guys. She had that whole poser thing that she talked about where she was trying to dress up as a skater person and impress this guy. And it's the same thing. She's she's trying to be cool. She's trying to appear like she's someone that guys would want. And sometimes it takes the form of dressing up in black makeup and listening to Sum 41. And sometimes it manifests as picking on other women and bashing other women. And I really don't like that characteristic. We get enough misogyny from men. We don't need it from women.
Anyways, guys. That's it for now. I'll see you tomorrow for a very special time warp. Bye, guys.
Don't make promises you can't keep, okay? Don't do it. Don't break my heart. I actually like those time warp videos. Anyway, next.
I'll put that here. And a nice tea, which they give me a huge one, which I didn't ask for, but I appreciate it, Popeyes. Thank you. The guy must have a crush on me.
Surprise of all surprises, this isn't a time warp video. Who would have thunk it? I found this bit really, really funny where she goes, he probably had a crush on me. And she's making a joke, and she knows because people always accuse her of that. Whenever someone so much as looks in her direction twice, she's like, oh, they had a huge crush on me. And she would only know that if she actively read the forums and watched all of the videos made about her, which I 100% think she does. Because Chantal is both very self-absorbed. I said A and then both very, but she's very self-absorbed, but she's also incredibly insecure. Man, this lady.
Always forget that I'm about to do my video, and I kind of underestimate the time that my dishwasher takes to cycle. So my dishwasher is cycling right now. So you might hear that. I apologize. I'm sorry.
You could wait until the dishwasher is done running. Did you know that they actually end their cycle at some point and then they no longer make noises? You could have waited, even if you just start a dishwasher's load, right? It'll take an hour. You could have waited to order the food, or you could have just put the food in the oven or something like that. It wouldn't have been as good, but it would have had higher integrity for your videos. Or heck, if you didn't want to do any of those, why didn't you just open up the door for the dishwasher and just stop it mid-cycle and then continue the cycle later on? You could have done any one of those things. You just chose not to.
So, let's, you know what? Let's try a bite of this pie, because we're adults. We can eat dessert first. Eat a bite.
I actually didn't find this all that weird. We eat dessert first in my culture. So, that makes sense. I was like, okay. And then she's like, we can be adults. And I'm like, that's not an adult thing. You can eat whatever you want in whatever order you want. It's not actually that big of a deal. I have friends of mine who are teaching their kids to do baby-led weaning. And their kids will go back and forth between eating, bites of, chocolate chip muffins and eating broccoli. It's not about what you eat first. It's a matter of the fact that you do it because you can't wait to get to the sugar and not because you just felt like having a couple bites of the pie.
All right, so as you know, I'm supposed to do a time warp today. Okay. I am sincere in apologizing for those of you who were looking forward to that video. I am really going through some stuff, and I really have to learn. And a lot of you viewers have warned me about this, regular viewers, long-time viewers, because you see a pattern with me, you know what I'm like.
I hate this excuse that she makes. Well, you guys know what I'm like. You know, you guys know how it is sometimes. You know how I can be sometimes. No, just because you're always shit doesn't make your behavior okay, right? It means that you're just always a shit person. You're consistently being a shit person. Just because you are consistent with it doesn't excuse the behavior.
I'm not really well mentally a lot of the time. That's better.
I really like how sincere she seems in this moment when she's talking about not being mentally well in between mouthfuls of fried fish.
I just have to be, like, just sitting here eating doesn't take as much effort. Not that I'm not willing to put in the effort, it's just that I just don't have it in me. Like, I know you might not see behind the scenes, but it did really take a lot out of me to even get dressed today.
But you do mind putting in the effort, Chantal. It obviously shows. If you didn't mind putting in the effort, I wouldn't be able to go back, watch videos from 2 years ago where you're talking about improving your setup and never having actually done so. You absolutely 100% mind putting in the effort because OnlyFans was giving you $1,000. First 3 days, $1,000. Next month probably would have been $1,000. All you had to do was put in the effort and you couldn't bother. That's the problem. You don't want to put in the effort. You want the most amount of money that you can get for the least amount of effort you can expend. And YouTube has rewarded you for that, much to its eternal shame.
Depression just like zaps a lot of energy from me.
Look, sometimes it's depression, but sometimes it's just plain laziness. Your mental health is not an excuse for you for everything in your life because you're actively choosing not to get better. You're actively choosing to live in misery. If you do that, if you actively choose not to get better when you have the resources available to you to actually get better, then no, I am not required to afford you any sympathy or compassion because you are choosing to be miserable. Why should I feel bad for a choice that you obviously don't feel bad about?
Mashed potatoes are just such a comfort food.
The last thing that I'm going to say on this is that she says that her mashed potatoes are a really big comfort to her. I get that. Mashed potatoes are soft and they're full of starch. And fun fact, did you know that mashed potatoes and cheese is actually nutritionally a complete diet for people? I did not know that. That was interesting. New for me to learn. Anyway, that will be it for all of the videos that she has. She actually did started going live just before I started filming this video. It's her, I think it's called like Good Morning or something like that. I don't know what that's about, but she did promise us an update on her health because she's apparently been going poorly. So let's talk about that, shall we? Chantal's had a pretty interesting time in her OnlyFans. She started with making an OnlyFans saying that, hey, you guys had better not take all my stuff. And of course, she made an OnlyFans and immediately her stuff was leaked. I don't know what that stuff was. I have seen 0 pictures of it, quite honestly, very much so on purpose, because I don't need that kind of mental scarring. No one is paying me for therapy right now, and I can't afford to pay for more therapy than I already am. So I'm going to avoid all of those pictures. That being said, you know, she could have made an effort out of it. Instead, what she chose to do was 3 days after she put up an OnlyFans saying that, hey, you can pay $10 for a month, she said that I'm going to cancel my OnlyFans. And rather than refunding people their money, she decided that she's just going to go ahead and keep all of it. I think the first thing she put up was her saying something to the tune of, hey, you guys, I would have to go through and manually block all of you to refund your money, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, I'm going to keep all of that money. Then she followed that up with saying that my loyal fans aren't even asking for a refund. It's only all of the trolls. And in that case, I don't even care. You guys can just take the loss and weep, which is ridiculous. There were a lot of people in there who came on there simply to support you, who wanted to do something for you, who weren't trolling. Trust me, trolls hate you like a lot, I'm sure. But there's very few people who are trolls who actually decided to spend their own hard-earned money so they could get the garbage content that you're offering on there. That is an absolutely disgusting thing to have done. And then she doubles down on it, saying that, no, I'm not going to offer a refund, that I did put out some content, so it's well within my rights to keep it. It is not. You promised a month of content, you gave them like 3 days, and then you decided to delete. That is a scam. You ran a scam. So she does this, and of course she gets a massive amount of hate. Not just from the haters, but from like non-hater people, from her own community. People are getting mad at her left, right, and center. It seems like she barely has any supporters left at this point. So of course, Chantal being Chantal and being principally an unprincipled woman, decides that, oh yeah, she's just going to go through and refund everybody their money. She talks to OnlyFans and she gives everybody a refund. Everybody gets their money back, and then she closes down her OnlyFans. And to distract from that, I feel the next thing that she posts in her community tab is basically a message saying, hey, you guys, I'm not feeling well right now. I have an infected fupa, so I have to go to the hospital and maybe get surgery. Feel bad for me. I'm just such a sick, dainty girl. And yeah, that's where we are right now. I'm sure there'll be more updates, and she did say that she's going to be posting a video today, which is Monday, and she'll be getting us that video regarding her health updates. So I expect that this video will be it. Have not seen it, don't know what's happening, and that is it. I hope that was comprehensive. Might have been a little bit rambly. I am tired. This video is probably going to be longer than I had expected. I'm sorry about that, but there's nothing I can do. Let's see what next week brings, shall we? Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you hated it, you can give me a thumbs down. That's totally okay. I respect everybody's opinions here. If you like this video, no, I already said that. Hey, subscribe to me, would ya? Hit notification bell and hit all so that you get notified when I upload any video right away. I've got all my social medias linked down below. I've got Instagram, where I put up my food stuff and my life stuff, and I'm actually putting more stuff up there now, so hey, check that out. I've got Twitter, where I'm a tiny bit toxic and a tiny bit petty, but I'm the easiest reachable there, and also I'm kind of entertaining. Plus, if you ever want to talk to me or ask my opinions about things, that's like the easiest place to do it. And I've got Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. So if you like the job that I'm doing here and you would like me to continue, hey, consider tossing a few coins in my direction. You don't have to. It's not necessary. But I'd really appreciate it if you did. As always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. Peace.